Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Duskpunk, where today's the day, right? I believe this will be the first video going up in the new year. So Happy New Year, everybody, and let us begin as we mean to continue and burn this motherfucker down. Red Check's calling a meeting. As you hurry through the docks, you're stopped by a familiar voice echoing through the squares. Settle down, brothers, settle down! We follow the sound to the main dock square. Brother Redcheck is addressing the crowd. I've given this a lot of thought. You're right, these tariffs cannot continue. Alright, I'm listening. You know what? I'm gonna throw in a damn right. At this point, I'm allowed to yell from the crowd. The Emperor must be made aware of our problem, or he cannot put it right. I've totally lost Redcheck's accent. Listen, it's been a long time since I started this Let's Play. So here's what we'll do. We shall march to the palace and hold a vigil. Candles, singing, the whole kit and caboodle. We'll lay it all out there and ask the little father for his guidance. Once he knows our strife and understands how we're suffering, I'm certain he'll put things right. Motherfucker. You're talking about a man who poisoned the entire poor quarter. I doubt he'll listen to a few candle-bearing dockers. We'll have some faith in the little father, Grieve. Faith is the most important thing. Yeah, but faith in what? Like, you gotta... There's a point at which faith absolutely is delusion. Like... Faith that exists in the absence of evidence is one thing, but faith that exists to deny a preponderance of evidence is something very, very different. Is this the time to get into, like, why is your faith so important to you? I'm trying to think, like, where does this go that would be helpful? I don't really want to just bark your faith is a delusion at you, because even though it's true, it's not going to make any, like, headway with him, right? It might diminish his standing amongst the other dockers, and there is a sense in which that is maybe a good thing for the cause, maybe a large-scale harm mitigation, because his leadership is not good right now. But all right, why is your faith so important? I'm gonna try to connect to him on a personal level. Let's figure out what is going on with him. Because it saved me when I was at my lowest. Because it's the only thing in the world that can turn things around when the nights are darkest. The crowd goes silent. It's vital we hold this vigil. The only way forward is to appeal to the little father. They are gonna fucking shoot you, my dude. Like, you know, as much as I think he's being foolish, I also still feel like we owe him, and they're gonna fucking kill him. I don't know, maybe the optics are too bad on that. I mean, you know, it's one thing to murder a bunch of pores. I'm gonna say hold a protest. Come on, keep the energy, but like we gotta stand together on this, right? Hold a protest, demand your rights. Aye, make some demands of this bastard. Down with the Emperor. A few dockers raise their fist, but only a minority. What is this nonsense? Haven't I always led you right? Haven't I always been there for you? The crowd murmurs sympathetically. Well, we must trust the Watcher. He's never done us wrong. This vigil will be a blessed offering to our Emperor. Our pleas shall pierce him to the heart, I'm sure of it. He raises his staff. There's a scattering of applause. He walks to the edge of the square and heads toward you. What in the lady's name are you thinking, Grieve? What are you thinking, brother? These people? He waves his staff to encompass the square. They're all the lady's children. They're all blessed. He lowers his voice. But they ain't never read a book in their damned lives. They'll never know what's best for them. They need to be ruled by those as are more learned, those with the Father's blessing and royal blood in their veins. I don't... Okay. I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial. Although it might be a little bit less controversial now than it would have been a couple months ago. I am sensitive to his argument about the idea that some people will just never make decisions that are good for them, no matter what. And it is certainly possible to live in a society where some significant portion of the people, maybe not the majority of the people, but let's say a plurality, perhaps maybe a narrow majority of those who actually vote, decide to just burn everything down because they are gripped by a great and powerful evil. And boy, I sure do think that that's an outcome worth avoiding. But I do think it's pretty clear that the Emperor does not care about these people. Like, regardless of the larger principle to be argued here, and like, can straight democracy? I don't want to say can straight democracy work, because of course it can work. The question is, can it be immunized against this particular form of failure? Whether or not, whatever, on those questions, this particular emperor is bad news. He fumes. If they get it into their heads they can demand things from their betters, it'll be chaos. Okay, can we maybe not use the phrase, like, their betters is a bad way of framing the problem. I'll not be responsible for a bloody riot, or worse. He barges past you, staff clanking on the cobbles. I get it. I can't say I don't get it. So we got lots of stuff. I am trying to persuade the dockers to march. Selling blackmail to the ossuary might be a cool thing to do, but yeah, I need to persuade the dockers to march. How effectively... Which of these clocks are which? Being known on the docks is probably pretty relevant for that. This is just, yeah, the boat that's around. Well, let us gossip with the watermen, shall we? We know that on a failure we lose progress, but even a mixed result here is pretty good, and the hard success is not much better than the mixed outcome. So I think we can just take normal actions here. All right, they're not too forthcoming, but they're talking. So we have a few days left, right? I believe the clock for this, awkwardly, is stored where we sleep. Which I guess if you're going to put it in one place, that's maybe a good place to put it. But I really do feel like some things like the Smith's Sun should probably be like global level clocks that are always visible on the UI or something like that. We can go to the warehouse specifically to discredit Red Check. Man, I should stick with what I was doing here. Let me finish this. We'll do this today. I will push on that. Well, we got some rumors, huh? Please let it work. All right. Okay, so now we're known at least. Maybe we can make some stuff happen. Do we still have the ability? No, we do not have the ability to interact with that stuff at all. At the Bonehorde Club, I can sell blackmail made from gossip. Where was it that I can... Oh, man, there's so many resources. Does the mouse over for gossip... You recall acquiring this in the cathedral and the music hall. Yes, thank you. Right, where this is just like hope. The music hall. Here we go. This is what I wanted. Trading rumors for... Because we just picked up all these rumors. So I can get them at a rate of 2 rumors on a real success. And I need 5 blackmail? Or 5 gossip for the blackmail? That's pretty tough. That's harsh stuff. I'm okay on energy. Well, I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up with 0 energy. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna prepare and act. I'm not gonna push. And then I think I'm gonna prepare and act again. The thing is, like, we're failing all the way up to a 9, right? Without the preparation. Okay. A couple pieces of gossip. It's not nothing. Show me good rest. Aww. The watch are closing in. They won't have time. So I do need to eat. I need to get something to eat. The prices went up at the tavern, right? We've never succeeded at attempting to do this during the day, but the numbers are way different. Gotten pretty good at Intuit. But the thing is, like, I have 1 restless crowd just in my back pocket already. Forgot about that. But I guess we have this. We have this available. We can stage a protest. You're in the heart of the docks. Try to disrupt Imperial propaganda. Presumably a good outcome gets you more revolutionary fervor. If the vigil's going to happen after Smith's Day, I wonder if it even matters. So engage with the crowd once, maybe you can sway them more easily. That's interesting. Obviously, it's a little expensive. I mean, I'm not exactly leading them toward a day in the park either, right? But I feel like at least in the direction we're leading them, they're gonna know that they're in a fight. I'm definitely a little torn here. Apologies for the slowness. I think I am gonna go to the tavern and buy food. I'm trying to remember, there's another place where you can buy lunch. Was it the music hall? I think it was slightly more efficient, right? I mean, 6 energy is pretty good. Just trying to minimize the number of actions we're going to have to spend on money making. The blackmail thing's probably not the most critically important. I don't know. Let me see about this. You chat to several dockers. They won't pay, but more than that, they want agency. They feel awkward turning away from red check in the Imperial religion, though. Okay, so... It's interesting that that was a one-time event just for finding out what it was they needed. Do I push? I'm gonna push. Alright, red check wants you to beg. I want you to demand. They hesitate. I agree, but can we really turn away from the little father? He's already turned away from you. So that was one level of success. So on a clean success at 10 plus, what are we expecting? Are we expecting a second chunk, or are we expecting like a point of some kind of currency? Maybe a revolutionary idea or something. Should I prepare? I'm just gonna act. Ugh. I'm just going to stress myself the fuck out. Remember, we do have one more solace, which is part of the reason that I'm comfortable doing this. Wow, brutal. Really brutal. Alright, is it time to just take the solace now so that my night actions have some chance of success? I think maybe. This is likely the last time that we'll be taking this stuff, so. I'm breaking curfew by being inside? Hold on. No, I literally took an action that was inside my home. This is the only time I'm not breaking curfew. Well, obviously we're pretty good at sneak. Alright, extremely clean. We've learned some things. It is really silly that you can get a breaking curfew event on acting inside of your home. That should really be the one place that cannot happen. Alright, I'm gonna try some more of this. Afraid your information's out of date, friend. That's 2 time units wasted if we don't. I'm gonna push. It's 2 time units wasted if we don't get it. It's tough, you know? And then we can go listen in. We get a mixed outcome on 6+. I think I'm comfortable just acting here. Wow. Okay, pretty rough rolls tonight. I am having a bad go of it. So, good news is, you can trade these for blackmail without spending an action. But unfortunately, the selling of the blackmail does cost an action. So, the time has come to go rest in our tower. Good night's sleep, bad night's sleep. Distress. It's coming. We know it's coming. The watch are closing in. I'm getting hungry. I'm pretty broke. Things are coming to a head. You awake in a haze. The sounds of the street filter in from outside like a river on the other side of a window. You see a dim shape in the gloom, a figure standing over you. And I squint at them. The shadows swim as your eyes adjust. The figure resolves. Tall, angular, a shock of white hair. Is that any kind of welcome, Grieve? You should be honored. I seldom make house calls. She takes in the ruined tower, repaired with boards and fixed-up furniture. Not my sort of place, but it has a certain atmosphere. And the view... Yeah, to what do I owe the pleasure? This is like a crazy thing to say to somebody who has already done the thing, right? I have a proposition. And there was a meeting in the old town a few nights ago. It was called by a leading collaborist, and certain people were present from across the city's lower classes. Okay. She's silent for a moment, watching your reaction. I also know you attended. I have plans in motion, my life's work coming to a head. I need to know what was discussed. Why should I tell you? What level of threat is this, basically? Because I already suspect. Moreover, I have an offer you can't refuse. I mean, I want to say I'm not telling you. It's sure going to make me look silly in a second here if I say that. And then she's like, okay, but how about this? And she forces my hand with something that I can't refuse. I don't know. The only way through whatever it is through it, right? Like, so tell me what you're talking about. I'm not telling you, parentheses unless. Uncooperative, but I have a fair idea. I assume this meeting pertains to the collaborist goal of a citywide uprising. You try to keep your face impassive. She smiles. Let me lay my cards on the table. Tell me, Grieve, do you believe in Markov's dream of revolution? I have my reasons is a weird answer. 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are the same answer here, but I guess I'll say I do. I mean, she knows already. Why? Well, society can't go on like this. His people's revolution seems like the best alternative. An unproven theoretical social model. Please. He should have stayed a writer. There he could do less damage. She studies you. This dream of a revolution. This filthy city living in harmony. It's absurd. Delude yourself if you wish. You'll suffer a rude awakening soon enough. Dredgeport is Dredgeport. It is scum and grime and suffering. The strong climb above the morass, and the remainder scratch a living. A mob cannot build a utopia, but it can be harnessed and unleashed. Markov has his finger on the pulse of a mob. His dream will fail, have no doubt, but this conspiracy could be the spark that ignites everything. I want you to be my man on the inside, so to speak. All right, come on, tell me the deal. She leans forward, her eyes flashing. While the others are starry-eyed with visions of paradise, you and I can climb to the top of the heap, and when their dreams lie shattered, we'll have something to show for it. Why dedicate yourself to a doomed cause when you can turn the situation to your advantage? And what do I get in return? It's like, she just told me, we'll have something to show for it. I guess I'm asking for specifics, but she's not going to offer any, right? I guess I'll try. I'll see that the War Office never darkens your door, and I'll pay you well, so well that you can live comfortably for a long time. I'm offering security. And you're asking me to betray these people and their hopes. She's gonna laugh at that. It's not hope, it's delusion. They will never get what they want, but you don't have to go down with them. So the question here is, do I say you've got a deal and then just not do what she says? Like, there's no version of this where I work for her, right? Where this character works for her. The question is, do I lie to her about it? And I think the answer is yes. Right? You've got a deal. It's settled then. I'll be in touch. For now, nod and smile. Drink up their nonsense. Listen to their plans. If you had reservations, they're gone. If you had doubts, they're settled. As far as they're concerned, you're a red-blooded revolutionary. Of course, comrade. She chuckles. And when they least suspect it, you will turn that to our advantage. She turns and heads back toward the street. This empire will be mine, soldier. One way or another. Okay, so she's going to have some kind of contingency in place for my backstabbing, but you know, that makes her have to tie up one more hand with that stuff, and I just need to survive, whatever it is. Okay, so, a couple of things. Today, we need to go back to the wharf. I guess we go and stage a protest, right? Like, I have no idea what a solidarity level that is high enough looks like. I have a relic. We can absolutely just sell our relic. They don't seem to be worth anything, so this ensures that I can, continue eating and whatever. It's so weird that you could just hold a restless crowd for, like, a period of time. Am I allowed to do the Bonehorde Club thing? Okay, yes, I am. We've never seen what success looks like on this. I would like to get a clean win. I'm not going to push for it, though. You report to the ossuary with your information. The lechery of politicians never ceases to amaze me. This is solid leverage, Grieve. Well, I'm happy to be of service. I'll have work for you in a few days, but in the meantime, you've earned some quality time. This club is a haven of secrets, but also of delight. My girls are more than happy to relieve the stress you must be under. Okay. Sorry, is our character... Yeah, thank you. If I have reservations about that sort of thing, there's absolutely no reason to express them to her. And the club has more than titillation to offer. Knock back a drink or two. Take in the music. I'll need you well rested. So has that unlocked the ability to... obviously that's probably a nighttime thing. Okay, because it probably would be a good idea to de-stress ourselves, right? And we can do some of that during the night at the music hall, obviously. I'm trying to think, like, what else do I need? I guess let's go ahead and stage that protest. Not particularly good at swaying people, so we'll prep it. Let's generate some revolutionary fervor out here. Down with Dredge, no more war. All right, 3 digits makes me feel a little bit better. I know it's like an arbitrary thing, but... So, relieve stress. It's certainly an easy enough roll. You savor a drink and settle into an armchair. This is the life. Wow, okay. 0 cost, huh? We will attempt to sneak away. 60's fine, right? Glimpsed out an alleyway, but somebody catches a glimpse of your face. Hey, I don't think being at 61 is any worse than being at 58 was. I am going to de-stress again. Pretty cool to get that for free. We can't eat at the music hall. That's a daytime thing, but that is what I would like to do with our energy. So at this point, there's not a ton that I can do. I suppose it might have been wise to try to prep a device. I have enough money where if I were to go get some plasm, I could just buy a device instead of making one. And I need plasma to make it even if I had the parts. Can I get plasm from... No, she's using it to power the thing, right? So I guess, yeah, let's just go steal some plasm from the plasm yards then. I'm, like, pretty good at it now. If we fail this, I'd be quite surprised. Like, with a reroll available, the odds of us beating yard security are really good. Alright, I don't know for sure if we're going to need a bomb or not. But if it turns out we did need a bomb, we probably won't have time to go get a bomb. Is 100% of my thinking there. I don't know what else we might need. Gonna evade the blue coats. We've been sitting on that for a while. Okay, so our wanted won't go up when we sleep anymore. And I guess we just discuss revolution with our last action before sleeping here. You grab a drink and join the revolutionaries. The talk is complex and stretches into the night. I've done a lot of drinking tonight. Maybe not the best time for it. All right, here we go. This would be a fun time to roll a really high number on the sleep dice. Okay, I mean, that's not so bad. And you rise with a sense of determination. Smith's sun has arrived. If the city rises up, it will be today. Dredgeport's streets feel different today. Factory workers walk past in huge groups singing work songs. Imperial posters are defaced and torn down. In the crucible, the hum of factories has stopped entirely. The city's bridges lie unguarded. The guards have abandoned their posts. You realize that while you wanted to befriend the beggars of the poor quarter, they must have gone to ground by now. Actually, probably they're mostly dead. You pass by the factory. Well, things are kicking off. I can feel it. Whole city is striking. Millions of us. Workers are already stopping work. Yeah, we've joined the general strikes. The bosses won't get so much as a sprocket out of us until we say so. See you at headquarters. We still have work to do. Yeah, I'll see you there. Don't forget to claim your strike pay. Your union, after all. As you hurry through the streets, you pass a rabble of thugs. You recognize one from the drug den. Grieve, fancy seeing you here. You're lucky we're busy, or I'd teach you a lesson for what you did. Well, then I will continue on my way. Thank you. Dredgeport is rising. Where will this end? You consider a new aim, to overthrow the Emperor. I feel like I've been considering that aim for quite some time. It's true, I don't remember ever choosing, like, that was not an aim we ever actually had. It was just one that was sort of pressed onto me. It feels to me like maximizing my endure, even though it almost certainly isn't going to be, like, meaningful. It feels like a thematic victory for this character, right? They told me to come claim my strike pay. They're right. We should, everybody, we earned it. Claim your groats and food. It's so funny that you can do a good job or a bad job of claiming your strike pay. Why would that system work that way? When you arrive at the ruined palace, Henry, Nasrin, and Zai are fizzing with excitement. Dolores is pacing up and down, nods to you, and fiddles with the strap of her cloak. The day has arrived, and as planned, the city has risen. He turns to Henry. Would you like to report on the factory district? We put the word out to strike on Smith's son. We've heard there are strikes all over. The bootlace factory, the sheet metal factory, the rifling plant. Dredgeport ain't got a single factory running today. An excellent start. The masses are kicking the legs out from under the regime. But it's not enough. They're down, but they're not out. Agreed. This will all be for nothing if the Emperor is not removed. So, I mean, storming the palace seems... I was going to say incredibly dangerous, but also, I guess kind of necessary, huh? Like, what, are we going to talk him into just coming out? Well, won't he just be reinstated in any case? I've seen radical graffiti and banners these last few weeks. Down with Dredge. He's just one man. If Dredgeport's people remove this parasite en masse, they'll never let him rule again. He'll lose all authority. Okay, so I am less certain, but how exactly would we storm the palace? People have flocked to the war dead. We've been training them, forming a militia. They're willing to fight the Empire. Not to mention the people of the city. A large enough crowd would be a serious obstacle for the Imperial Guard. The House of Dredge has many heirs. If this Emperor is forced out, another will take his place. I don't fancy going to the trouble of prying one bastard off the throne just to pop another on instead. Well, the Emperor is only half the problem. Our other enemy is that zoo they call a parliament. And everyone knows the Emperor's got them wrapped around his little finger. They're all bankers or aristos or shareholders. Left unchecked, Parliament will simply pluck a new emperor from the Dredge family line. And we reckon there's no reasoning with that. I've seen these doddering fools get fat and stupid off the sweat of the poor, decade on decade. And when Dredge says jump, they kiss his arse first. They wouldn't know what to do without an emperor. What's needed is a new kind of democracy, much like the Union model. He nods to Henry and Nasrin. Wait, for the city or the whole country? Precisely. He's not so difficult, my love. New in size, but not in concept. All we want is People's Assembly, but bigger. Hey, we agreed to overthrow the Emperor, nothing more. I don't care what fancy system you've got going. The machinists are never going to go for it. Zai, I know you machinists hate authority, and that's understandable. But if we're going to free the people from the Empire, we all need to pull together. Can we count on you? Zai stretches, leans her chair back, and rests her feet on the table. I'm happy to be part of this big party, but my main goal is to take out the Iron Brigade. They've been a thorn in my people's side for too long. Honestly, I'm not laying down machinist lives for someone else's wages, she nods to Henry, or someone else's ideas, she nods to Markov, or someone else's anti-war campaign, she nods to you and Dolores. Hey, Zai, I'm on your side. Well, okay, Zai, what would your dad do? I know what he means to you. She swallows, eyes flashing with anger and tears. My dad? He'd tell you to piss off out of the crucible. You know what his golden rule was? Trust in your own strength, no one else's. And what would he think about the unrest in the city? She sighs slowly. Well, he'd be surprised to see the factory sloggers look up past their own noses for once. No offense. But I'll never really know he's not here. She bites her lip. For a moment, you realize how young she really is. I mean, you gotta know the machinists will never be free until the system is broken. She nods slowly. We're being crushed in the gears like we're nothing. I've seen that with my own eyes. We've got to break the machine, haven't we? And how many machinists have died for the war? Too many. We're less than we were. It's getting worse. Zai holds up her metal hand. All right. Maybe I'm mad, but I'm in. I'll fight with you all the way, and I'll tell the machinist to follow my lead. And you can use the arc light for whatever you need. Okay, can we do anything to help you? Well, I've got blueprints for a wireless sitting around somewhere. You could take a turn listening, see if you can pick up any chatter from the Iron Brigade. And every drop of plasma we get will help power our gadgets. Well, that's settled. Henry, Nasrin, where do you stand on the question of our mutual goals? We are in, all the way. Henry looks at his hands for a second. The moment stretches awkwardly. Azizam, we are in, yes? I want to fight, but I'm scared. I'm not afraid to die, but my Ruby, she's having a kid. I don't want to leave her alone, throwing my life away. Do not bring Ruby into this. Were she here, she would throw you in the fight herself. And leave our kid without a father? Well, sitting this out is not safer. The Emperor can kill anyone at any time. He proved that with the Poor Quarter massacre. Yeah, very true. And your kid's gonna grow up in the same hell you're in now unless we fix it. He clenches a fist and stares into a spot in the distance, as though looking at something only he can see. I know, dear one. She strokes his tattooed arm. I want to fight for that world. For her and everyone we lost. Well, we're only strong when we stand together. Hasn't everything we've done together shown that? Henry smiles. You're right, my friend. Strike seemed hopeless, yet we won. Maybe we win this too. All right, Nasrin, I could use a little bit more certainty in your tone. All right, I'm in. If I want my child to live in a better world, I've got to fight for it. And I too. We will call on Factory Union to join the struggle. Nasrin takes Henry's hand and squeezes it. And what about you, Markov? Hope you'll be pulling your own weight. The Collaborists are a force to be reckoned with. In a little over a month, we've grown from 1,000 to 10 times that many. I estimate every factory in Union has at least one Collaborist member, and we're known across the city. When I returned to Dredgeport, I was worried we didn't have time to build the party. But thanks to the efforts of comrades like Grieve, we've reached the masses. Well, Markov barks, replacing his glasses. Our way is clear. We're too far in to turn back now. We must support the workers, encourage solidarity, and storm Parliament and the Imperial Palace. And do not forget, regular people strong together. That's true. I've heard rumors of all sorts of community projects. Field hospitals, community kitchens, not to mention the community at our factory. The city is different now. People work together. We all must keep eyes open for such projects and support them. See you on the other side. Alright, a new aim to investigate communal projects. Put local cycles first, in a word. Well, in a phrase. So, there are some soup kitchens over here. The wharfs central to the city have become a new town square. People are ready to hear truth. This is a risky action, but it doesn't take any time, and we have the revolutionary idea, so let's go for it. You talk of the gap between rich and poor, the exploitation of their loved ones' bodies for plasm. People nod. They're angry. Alright, we should definitely set up soup kitchens. Like, this is a thing that is critically important. People need to eat, and food costs more than ever. We can fix this. We can make this work for now. It's going to cost us some revolutionary zeal. It's not that it costs us zeal, it's that it costs us organizational power, right? Everybody who's doing this is somebody who can't be doing something else. Alright. I am not opposed to serving in the kitchens, but let's just make sure we're doing everything we need to do here. Try to reach the estate district. I mean, I do have places to be. What does this do? Districts closed to outsiders. Emperor's orders. Okay, that is going to make it tricky to obviously access Parliament or anything. Well, we know how to formulate blackmail and stuff. We did some actions before. Red Check's not all the way discredited yet, and we probably ought to make sure that happens before the vigil occurs, because I really do think that the vigil is going to be a horrible, horrible scene. I should eat. I should eat before I forget. Shops and restaurants are abandoned. The only thing between you and their cash boxes is a sturdy shutter. Unfortunately, I needed the food. Huh, the music hall. Strange songs and laughter. Are they still serving food down at the tavern? Okay, this will have to do. This is important, but I am actually really curious about this. And we succeed. So, you ease open the door. For a second, your mind can't process what your eyes are seeing. A dozen people sit on the music hall stage on fine dining room chairs and tables, perhaps furniture salvaged from the restaurant. Below them, seated in plush music hall seats, a man and woman appear to be having an argument. "You'll never take my baby. Give it here." "But why, kind sir?" "Because I wants to eat it." He licks his chops with exaggerated relish. Well, I mean, it's a scene, obviously. You watch as the spectacle unfolds. The man growls and begins to chase the woman around the theater. "Oh, please, someone save my baby. Catch, sir." Who, me? You look up to see the baby flying toward you at disturbing speed. It hits you in the nose and falls into your arms. But now that you see it up close, you realize the baby is just a rolled-up blanket. Suddenly, you feel a blow on the back of your head. You whirl around to see the man wielding a nightstick. But when you go to feel the energy, you realize it was just a friendly tap. I feel like you would know the difference. I've been hit in the head a few times. Okay. "Oh, ho, ho, I see we have a champion for this fair maiden's honor." You realize this entire charade is just a joke, a strange improvised play thrown together by some would-be actors. The man frowns and leans toward you. "Mister, if you're going to hold up the play, you best clear off. You want to take part? It's just a few groats." All right. "Good sir, how dare you threaten this poor babe?" Right? We've gotten in with the music theater folk. I feel like playing along makes a certain kind of sense. You throw the baby to another audience member and pick up a stick as an improvised weapon. You could do with blowing off some steam. Okay. So we've unlocked the ability to steal everything from the props department and also to watch some improvised performances. That's interesting, I guess. Let's just hope for a high number. Nope, okay. Let's push ourselves and then roll a really high number. It's not that high. We got a little bit of time left. We can still found the field hospital now, and I suppose we probably ought to. Warehouses could be converted into triage wards to hold the wounded. This is a pretty important thing, given what I suspect is about to befall us. The dockers look to you for leadership, and they want to help the cause. We'll do our bit. Let's haul those crates out. All right. So if you rest at the field hospital, you heal even on a failure. It eats energy on a failure. And people are going to need some care. I'm not really a people healer so much as a machine healer. You spot Nasrin among the crowd swarming the docks. Grieve, good work. These people are organized. These people rely only on their own strength. Now I think you must turn your focus to East Side. Why East Side? I hear rumors. People looting shops and restaurants. Could be a good opportunity, no? Should we really be looting? We need all our strength to fight. Everything we have. Besides, these rich East Siders can afford it, I think. And I also hear about regular people taking over music hall, putting on silly show. I'm not sure if it is a joke, but you should take a look. Yeah, alright. I just don't like... When I ask the question, should we be looting, it's not like a, oh no, not property crimes kind of concern so much as it is like, is this not low yield relative to like the size of our organization? Feels to me like we need a larger scale plan for supplies than that. Okay, so we did this thing, obviously. I was kind of hoping that would just remove the marker, but apparently not. Passing the prison, you see a huge crowd gathered. The guards push them back, but it's 20 men against 1,000. Down with Dredge! Free the prisoners! As you watch, the mob pour into the prison. Doors are flung aside, locks click open, and you see a familiar figure looming, oh no, out of the darkness, flanked by his thugs. I knew you lot could get me out. What did I miss? Right, that's a problem for me personally. I betrayed that man a lot. A very great deal. Now, he doesn't necessarily know it. You know, if we manage to get a hold of some gossip, that could actually be quite useful. Let me see what we can turn up here. Wow, 2 points on you find a bundle of notes and letters. There are a few personal details. Reference to a duke. Mixed outcome is 2, and we get the good outcome on a 6+. Upstairs, you find a desk with a diary inside. The secrets you find inside are salacious. Okay, see, that's great news. I don't know for sure whether we're going to need blackmail, but now I know for sure that we can get it. I will just accept that outcome. That's fine. So what else do we want to be doing? We've made, I've stockpiled a couple of like theoretically useful resources, right? We could loot some finery. Something else really going on here. We could just like relieve some stress. Pamphlets probably don't do too much for us at this point. Out on the high street. Oh, you know what? We do still have some pamphlets. This will help hopefully push our solidarity level back up. Joining the protests probably also will do some of that. I feel like this has got to have, because it's so much more difficult, it feels like it's got to have a better... Well, I guess it's not, though. It is actually just a difficulty 9 check. The entire difference that we're seeing here is just our skill values. Okay, well, let's join the protest. This I'm good at. You join the march and raise your fist proudly, generating a very small amount of solidarity. All right, good night's sleep, right? We're doing the thing. Wow, Jesus. Okay, nightmares it is. Once again, the first thing you see when you step into the streets is the ossuary's automobile. You step into the brothel. This way. He leads you through the maze of paneled wood to a large door. Go on. You knock. Enter. You step into a spacious smoking room dominated by a large mahogany table. The ossuary sits at the head. At the far end sits the hulking figure of Dresden Knox. Dresden's eyes narrow. So, snakes come crawling out of the woodwork. You will behave, Dresden. He grunts. And between the two figures sit a half-dozen businessmen and politicians. There is one empty seat. Father's prick, can we get started now? Simmons, I called this meeting. We will commence when I give the order. You do well to remember who holds the strings. I'm gonna take my seat. Vesper called us here. You will address me correctly, Simmons. I'm so sorry. The ossuary called us here. Said she had an offer we'd all be interested in. All true? And we're all just dying to hear it. The ossuary spreads her hands on the table, like a tarot reader surveying her cards. My spies tell me the city is at a boiling point. The Emperor has bungled this war and his reign. He's no longer fit for office. There is a gasp, quickly stifled. I'm just going to let her keep talking. In an ideal world, he would abdicate quietly. I don't think he would ever consider that, though. But if someone doesn't do something, the mob will rip him from his throne and tear him to pieces. Is there no way to reason with him? Encourage him to turn the ship around. We are long past that. You wouldn't have called us here just for that, though. I think you smell opportunity. Exactly. If we all work together, we all benefit. Simmons, you've been chafing at the bit for years. Dredge never gives out any real power, and his antiquated laws are tying up my business. A man can't make an honest living in Sarum these days. Oh, I assumed you were a politician, not an industrialist. The line between one and the other is sometimes thin. And why not? A man of business built this city. We should run it, too. I see. Simmons, what's your dearest wish? For Dredge to kick the bucket. We'll put some idiot child on the throne, I suppose. I'll do you one better. Why keep the dynasty at all? Oh, you mean a republic, but why not? Everyone hates the emperors, and it'll give you far freer reign. And what do the lich dealers want? Well, to rule the west side of the Middens, both of them. Keep the bluecoats out of our business. But that's most of the city. Since when do you care? You lot stick to the east side. Done. In exchange, you're my personal muscle. What? But you can't. Or would you like tomorrow's papers to focus on your little indiscretion? That maid was awfully young. The man glowers. And Grieve. Your position in the war dead gives you a unique authority among the people. What is the thing that I say to her in this moment? I'd want a seat at the table of this new government. I want to see like how flexible her plan for power is. Not that there's any chance that we're siding with her. The ossuary smiles. I'll arrange it. In exchange, you'll tell the mob what a perfect ruler I would be. A ruler? But this republic will need an elected chancellor, and you will all ensure that I am that chancellor. The silence stretches across the table. Dresden clacks a knife against the varnished table, grinning. You got it, boss. Very well. For carving up the empire, I might as well climb... No. Hey, let's try that one again. Very well. If we're carving up the empire, I might as well claim my slice. That's the first intelligent thing you've said all evening. For the next hour, she lays out a spiderweb plan that touches the entire city. The lich dealers will stage brutal attacks to inflame the city. Every attack will be blamed not on the ossuary, but the mob. Grieve, you will need to inflame the masses. Their anger will burn down the halls of our enemies. You got any suggestions on that front? The number of secrets the rich are keeping, just find them out and print them for all to see. That's the surest way to inflame the mob. Okay. I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea. Once you've whipped the masses into a frenzy, you shall storm Parliament Hall, which we were planning on doing already. But we must reduce this regime to absolute chaos. Understood. You will also help your war-dead friends to storm the palace. That will give Dresden cover to slip in and murder the Emperor. Dresden grins. Oh, I've never shed royal blood before. Make it violent and bloody. You're the Dredgeport mob. Brutal, inhuman, barbaric. You came to the right place. The city will be in an uproar, the Emperor butchered. The only political force in the city will be Parliament, cowed and broken. They'll beg for a firm hand to put this all right. And that would be you. So it will be your task, Grieve and Simmons, to convince the parliamentarians I am the best choice for Sarum. The only choice. Well, that's a lot to get done. History cares about results, not excuses. Besides, you've got the mob on your side. The ossuary pushes her chair back and calls for sherry. Raise your glasses, gentlemen. A new dawn is breaking over Sarum. To finally getting what's ours. The ossuary sets her jaw. Couldn't have said it better myself. Maybe that was too obvious. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. That was a little. I tipped my hand there a little bit. Anyway, what are we doing? We're helping to discredit Red Shack, unfortunately. Let's make sure this gets done. As the dockers prepare for the vigil, you've been speaking to them one by one, feeling them out. Now you address the entire crowd. Dockers, I know you love Brother Redcheck dearly. But try to do this gently. This is not how we should spend our energy. You clamber onto a crate and address the crowd. Do you want to put your faith in the Emperor or your own? Okay. I want to try to steer this away from Redcheck being like a bad person or someone who's trying to harm them, and toward just like, I have a better plan. Less his plan is bad, more my plan is good, right? But I do wonder if I can weaken my speech too much by refusing to acknowledge the fact that his plan is very bad. I'm gonna try to keep this light on him. Do you want to put your faith in the Emperor or your own hands? The only way forward is a show of strength. We need to remind the Emperor who we are and why he should fear us. Hear, hear! There will be no vigil. What we need is a protest march. The Emperor and his kind need a reminder of whose backs their fortunes rest on. Spread the word. The crowd applauds. I climb down, and I'm sure Redcheck is, going to be right here. Blasphemer! I ought to strike you down where you stand, foundling. I'm sorry, Watcher, but you're blinded by faith. You heathen! He scoffs and barges through the crowd. Don't come crawling to me when the little father asks for your heads on spikes. Yeah, well, that was already happening. It's interesting that I can still get over here to the townhouse. So, very curious to see what's going to happen in the morning. What does it take to print pamphlets? We can print inflammatory tracts with our blackmail. Aha. There's no way that the game is tracking a different idea, right? Like, firing up the masses is firing up the masses. The game's not tracking, like, bad public anger versus good public anger. And there are definitely different kinds. Let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, it's just 20 raw solidarity. Okay. The sheets fly off the presses. The ossuary's people hand them out among the people to shocked gasps. I mean, it's energy. Glad I went and got that blackmail. At this point, more sneak perhaps? Sleight of hand is the chance to gain 2 groats. Yeah, I don't actually care about that at all. Again, just trying to advance in the ways that I think make some kind of narrative sense for our character. So there's lots of ways that we can contribute. I feel like field hospital is a tough one. But like I can certainly serve people at the food kitchen, right? This should be no problem. Every docker's face lights up as you hand them a bowl, and you even manage a few bites yourself. Okay, wow, groats and energy and solidarity. Quite a lot of solidarity. That's a pretty fucking good deal. Hey, who would have thought? The more you share, the more your bowl will be plentiful. Resisting the blue coats. I'm curious what this does. We'll take damage if we attempt it and fail. I mean, it's got to drive solidarity up when you succeed, right? I'm a little worried about also gaining wanted level though, and if we can just feed people, then it probably makes more sense to do that. There is something to be said though for continuing to search for gossip, because like if we wanted the blackmail turned out to be pretty useful. We got ourselves into a position where we're going to be just fine for tomorrow. I'm going to see about digging up some more trouble. All right, very good at sneaking past the patrols. Really, what it should only throw a curfew break event when you try to use a button that is in a different place than the last place that you used a button, right? Because like even staying inside the playbill as I was intending to, I should be able to like fire multiple events in here totally safely. It's a weird system. Let's get ourselves some blackmail and then maybe, you know what? Just kind of chill out here and relieve some stress. Bouncer comes over. Boss says you're meant to be working, not kicking back. Actually, the boss said that it was fine for me to be kicking back here. I'm just going to go right back inside, and oh, I'm not allowed to kick back anymore. That's a shame. Well, can't take in an improvised shop anymore. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I can still do it. It's just over here. Okay. Pay 4 groats to lose 2 stress in a way that doesn't cost any time. Seems pretty great. And then just like go back to the wharf and work at the soup kitchen some more. Get a little bit of money back. All right, let's see what happens on the morning. Okay, not so bad. Sleep fitfully and wake in a cold sweat. Better than a lot of days. As you step into the street, the city feels different. Workers and beggars still roam the byways openly, moving in large groups, but they're subdued. No work songs. Fresh posters have been plastered across every street. They read, "Notice to all citizens. The Emperor will address his people today regarding the recent disturbances. His Highness's highest priority is the restoration of order. The speech will take place today on the High Street." Well, I don't know exactly. This is a little bit hard to judge. I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. I don't know exactly how much there is left to do, but like we still have to figure out the dissolution of Parliament and the storming of the palace, and like my guess is there's a fair amount left. So I think I am going to go ahead and drop a break here. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we may in fact see what all of this has been leading to. So come back for that, and we'll see you then.